Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and today is AEW Full Gear. And in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing over the next month as we close out the year 2024, I'm going to be talking about what I want to see in professional wrestling in 2025. And I thought, in the spirit of AEW Full Gear happening tonight, I thought, hey, let's talk about what I want to see in AEW and how AEW can improve in 2025. And I want to start in a two-part series because I want to do a two-parter on this because this kind of goes hand in hand. So there'll be a video today and then a video on Sunday kind of talking about the other part of what I'm talking about today. So, before we get into today's video, I do want to say this. I have noticed a lot of my views have gone up. I'm getting a lot of new subscribers. So, to you new subscribers out there, and anyone who is watching and has not yet subscribed, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike. I produce weekly wrestling content here on the channel, and I know that in the big ocean or sea of wrestling content creators out there, you have plenty of options, and I thank you for choosing me as one of those options. So, I hope that you enjoyed today's video and go back and you watch some of my older videos, and that you will stay subscribed, as I am planning a big 2025 year. As I am going to WrestleMania, I am planning on doing some content in Las Vegas during WrestleMania. And doing some stuff, hopefully doing some live stuff at other wrestling shows that I go to. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to a big 2025 year. Now, let's talk about AEW. What do they need to do, or what do I want to see them do in 2025? And I think for a lot of fans, I was getting ahead of myself here. For a lot of fans, they want to see AEW kind of get back to where they were before they started slipping. And we can debate this all day, whether it had to do with the outing of Vince McMahon, Triple H taking over, Cody Rhodes leaving, whatever the case may be. You can comment below and tell me when you think AEW started to slip and lose momentum. But be it as it may, AEW has still kind of been struggling to get back to where they were a couple years ago. They kind of peaked in 2021. And as I was making out my list for videos of topics that I want to talk about in this series about wrestling in 2025, the two big things came to mind for me for AEW, and that's why this is a two-part series. You'll see the other part on Sunday, is because I feel like, to me, AEW has spent a lot of money signing a lot of WWE big free agents. They just brought in the Hurt Syndicate, or the Hurt Business. We've seen Adam Copeland, Edge, who we all thought was a WWE lifer. Like, who would have thought, like Edge, not only would he come out of retirement after 9 years, but he would have this option of going to another wrestling company, something that he did not have when he was first wrestling. Like it's kind of crazy to think, even now, like, Edge wrestling for somebody else, like it's crazy. And you got Bryan Danielson over there. We've seen Adam Cole, Undisputed Era. John Moxley, Christian Cage, who I believe has been the best free agent signing from WWE, in my opinion. Toni Storm, who also for the women's division, I think has been the best free agent signing from WWE to AEW. And that's great. But at some point, you've got to kind of start growing your own talent. You have to start growing your own crop, so to speak. And you're starting to see that when you look at the pay-per-view tonight. You look at the main event. It's John Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy, a AEW original. Now, look, there's people probably going to be saying, well, what's Orange Cassidy done to deserve a title shot? He's not world champion material. He just puts his hand in his pockets. Darby Allin. He's kind of being built up too. I feel like he's going to be the next AEW world champion, be it Revolution, Double or Nothing, or if they push it off to All In Texas next year. I feel like Darby Allin is going to be the next in line to be the AEW world champion and beat John Moxley. And Darby Allin also is a homegrown AEW talent. And again, same thing. He wears face paint, he rides a skateboard, he does a lot of stupid spots, and Sting may be his father, I don't know. We may need to get Maury on that to do a DNA test, who knows, but it's time for AEW, I think in 2025, to focus on finding their own homegrown talent. Now, there's a second part to the equation that I will talk about on Sunday, but I do think when you look at these last couple years in WWE, they've let go of guys like Edge. They've let go of guys basically going, okay, well, you can go here. Bobby Lashley is the latest example. Bobby Lashley, was like, okay, we'll let you go. And, some people might say, well, he's up there in age, and Bobby Lashley is, but I think age in wrestling today in 2024 is a lot different than than a wrestler's age was, say, 20 years ago. And when you look at, WWE going, hey, we are going to just willingly let you guys go. And it's because WWE is building new stars. They're doing exactly what they did in the 90s. AEW is doing exactly what Eric Bischoff did. Tony Khan is signing all the free agents from WWE, the guys that WWE doesn't want no more. And I know Tony Khan, Eric Bischoff, they're feuding, but they're a lot alike. And so Tony Khan is signing all these free agents, which has bloated the roster, by the way, because their roster was already big. They already had a number of good talent already on their roster, and now you've added so many free agents over the last couple of years from the WWE, and now it's just kind of like, now you need to make room for her. How do you make room for everybody, right? And you look at WWE, they go, well, we'll let you go because, we have Obafemi, you have Trick Williams, you have Braun Breaker, you have Bronson Reed, who is coming into his own and is part of the Soul Survivor Series War Games match next week. And you have all these new stars coming up, and that WWE is handcrafting and hand building to be the next generation of superstars. And the same thing when you look at the NXT women's division right now, which is the best women's division in professional wrestling right now. Again, they're building up a crop of young talent. Okay, Mercedes Moné, she didn't come back to WWE as Sasha Banks. Cool. Why would WWE overpay or try to match whatever Tony Khan paid her when they got Roxanne Perez? They got Cora Jade. They just signed Julia, Stephanie Vaquer. They got all these women down in NXT where Triple H and just goes, all right, if you want more money, go to AEW, right? Because we'll just replace you with this person down in NXT. And I don't think Darby Allin or a Orange Cassidy is a face of the company type of guy. I think they fit the mold of a Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him by, where the plucky underdog wins the big one, right? That's their role. Now, granted, you can give a wrestler the best creative, the best storyline, and you see what they can do, right? You can see maybe Orange Cassidy is more than just a guy who just puts his hands in his pockets. Maybe Darby Allin is more than just a guy who rides a skateboard. And you can see, okay, maybe so. By giving them a main event spot, by putting them in that position, because you don't know what you have in somebody until you put them in a spot or you give them a good character or storyline to work with. And that's where a lot of the phrase underutilized comes from when fans talk about, this AEW underutilized this talent or WWE is not using this person. But I look at their roster and they have a lot of blue chip prospects. They really do. When you look at their roster, like honestly, when you look at like I don't think they needed to sign as many WWE free agents as they did because they have so many blue chip prospects that I think they just needed to give more TV time to. Hi guys. And so, you have these prospects, a lot of blue chip prospects you can build around for the future. And I think for me, that's what AEW needs to really focus on from a story perspective, talent, TV perspective, is to find that person. I'm not saying they're going to find their John Cena, their Cody Rhodes, so to speak, and no pun, I guess, which is ironic given Cody Rhodes is one of the founders of AEW, and now he's the biggest babyface in all professional wrestling now in the WWE. But yeah, they need to find that guy that is going to be a John Cena, a Cody Rhodes, a Roman Reigns. The guy that is going to go and get AEW beyond the wrestling audience. They got to find a way to get that casual audience. Because you look at this talent on the roster and you go, how are they struggling with TV, with AEW Dynamite attendance? How are they struggling with ratings? How are they, they do draw a sellout crowd for pay-per-views, don't get me wrong. But it's the fact that people aren't, it's weird, it's backwards somehow in AEW. Fans will buy the pay-per-views, they will watch them, they will enjoy them, and they'll buy tickets for them, but then they kind of skip out on Dynamite. They don't Collision. I'm not really going to count that a little bit because Dynamite is their main show, but it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, man, you look at this roster and you go, how are they not selling tickets? We've seen the empty arena seats. We've seen that with WWE in the early 2010s. When WWE wasn't doing as good. Fans would post, oh, look at these empty seats. Oh, they put tarps on these seats. And that's unfortunate for AEW because they started to grow, and I wonder if they grew too fast because they started to expand into these bigger arenas that the WWE would go into, and now they have to go back to these smaller arenas, which you don't want to see as a wrestling fan because you want to see the business doing well, you want to see it thriving, but how does AEW get back to that point? And I think you have to find somebody that is going to draw and get people into the arena. And to quote Tony Schiavone, you have to find somebody that's going to put butts in seats. And right now, they don't have that guy. And some might say, did they miss the boat on Cody Rhodes? Did they, is it a story? Is it creative? Is it not having the right guy? Because even WCW had to build their own guy, their own superstar, which was Bill Goldberg. And they found him. He was a homegrown guy for WCW, and he was a big major star for them. That was not a free agent from WWE. So, it's going to be an interesting year. I think 2025 for AEW, I would like to see them get out of this rut that they're in, or they've been in for the last couple years. I would like to see AEW get that momentum back, or at least some momentum back to where, they're getting higher ratings, they're getting more people in the seats at TV tapings. And I want to see all that happening, but I can't see that happening without AEW focusing on one particular person to say, okay, this is our face of the company. This is, at some point, WWE is going to run out of free agents that they don't want. We have to find somebody of our own. We have to look down on our deep roster and go, who can we develop? Who can we go and say, if we give this person TV time, are they going to succeed? Are they going to be that guy? Sure, Orange Cassidy, hands in his pockets. Darby Allin, he's just a guy who rides a skateboard. But you know what? Maybe, just maybe, they have somebody that is kind of like a Rocky Maivia or a ringmaster that can blossom into their into their first major star that is going to catapult AEW into the mainstream. Maybe not. Maybe that person is someone that is underutilized in WWE. Maybe it's somebody underutilized in New Japan. I don't know. But what I do like is I want to see more of what we're seeing, or what we're going to see at Full Gear, where we do have more homegrown talent being put in the spotlight, like Orange Cassidy going for the world title. Darby Allin, eventually, I would like to see them do that with maybe a Powerhouse Hobbs. Maybe, I don't know, Ricky Starks, whenever, I don't know, well, he disappeared off TV, now he's not on TV. So I don't know if they're waiting, if he's just going to wait out his contract and just go to WWE, but he's another one. Then you got Jack Perry, you got guys, like I said, you got guys on this roster that is a complete blue chip. Yeah. You have guys on this roster that I'm going to go up and down this roster right now. So I'm looking at this roster. You have a lot of blue chip prospects, like I said. Guys that I think if you were to give TV time to and give them a story, you might be able to hit on something. That's the funny thing about wrestling is that you basically have to roll with it and say, all right, we're going to go with this guy and see what happens. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But hey, at least you tried something new, because that's what the fans always say they want. And that's kind of the argument I have against people who say Orange Cassidy shouldn't be fighting for the world title. He's not world champion material. Well, just because it's not who you want to be pushed doesn't mean that it's a bad choice. Just roll with it and see what happens. Am I saying Orange Cassidy is going to win the world title tonight? No. But you know what? At least we get to see him in a main event role and see how he responds, how he does in this role. And that's the best thing that AEW can do in 2025 is start utilizing some of these homegrown talent a little bit better in order to hopefully find that guy that can lead the company. I know there's MJF. People are going to say MJF. Well, yeah, okay. Well, guess what? We've already done the MJF thing. So to me, you got to find the next guy. Hangman Adam Page. Maybe he's the next top heel. Maybe you just now need to find that next baby face. Who knows? Comment below. Let me know. Do you think AEW should focus more on finding and building up their homegrown talent? Who do you want to see in AEW be built up, be pushed in 2025? And tomorrow on the channel, I will be talking a part 2 of this, as I will be talking about the one thing, and that goes hand in hand with what I just talked about today, the one thing that AEW can copy from WWE in order to be able to find their next homegrown talent, but also maybe, just maybe, their next big star. I've been your host, Money Mike, and you've been watching Ringside Cinema.
Ringside Cinema, where the battles roar. Ringside Cinema, legends at the core. Tune in, feel the rush. Wrestling meets the screen. Ringside Cinema, living out the dream. Living out the dream. Living out the dream. Lights down, time to go. Cheers for heroes we know. Ringside forever. Oh. Wrestling